true. I mean, are you saying I'm lying?
No. I'm saying when your parents told you that you don't do these certain things, that certain things is bad. Don't do racist joke, as you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
What is on an atheistic framework? Look, I'm challenging the atheistic framework. I'm not challenging your personal position, this is not my, and I'm not diverting my topic.
The framework
right?
that they were talking, the context was atheistic.
Yeah.
It was saying that we're all humans. It was a humanistic atheistic. We are all human beings. We all should be treated with kindness and respect. We should all be treated with kindness and respect and tolerance and acceptance. And you shouldn't be denigrating a particular ethnic group, right, by telling racist jokes. But that is nothing to do with, that had nothing to do with religion or God. And now I'm going to have to go. I'm sorry, but that's the end of my...
No, but my question still answered. My question is still answered. I am asking from that atheistic model.
You're looking at it.
You borrowing the practice from religion.
But you're constructing a straw dog.
No. Look. All of the things. Look. You're talking about all of the things you have saying.
It's nice talking to you.
So all of the things you're mentioning, the brother mentioning, I always wanted to tackle from this atheistic point of view. Can you prove me that you have the ultimate moral code, meaning objective moral, meaning there are families, from Christian families, from atheist families, atheists from Christian families, they do have some moral code which is borrowed from the religion, right? And they hold some aspect of it, yeah? And when they incorporate these, they associate with this, okay, we can have this moral code. And our question is, you cannot have this moral code because the belief system that you have, it doesn't support that, because it is a rearrangement of matter. If there is no God, there is no moral. Basic, simple is that. So the brother didn't answer my direct question. As you know, he doesn't have answer, and he will not have the answer. So I hope, he thinks about it, and realize that, from this atheistic framework, he cannot have the correct morals, It's very subjective. It's changed by times where men are not all knowledgeable, men are not all knowing. So we'll have limitation. But the ultimate, the creator, who is Allah, is all knowing. And he knows who created us. He knows how our soul whisper to us. So, and that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us those guidance for us to live by, so that we can live by harmony in this world. So I hope, he thinks about it. Jazak Allah Khair. Assalamu
Keep walking, we preach. People, they listen.
How many microphones? Shove it.
Every human being.
Something.
It's all closed. Okay. Brother Isa, come here, inshallah. So I met a brother who is come from atheistic background. He was telling he was atheist. Even in one point he was claiming his parents are atheists, but he believes in some good morals, to live good, to help one another, and all of this. And I was keep asking him one question. Then from this atheistic point of view, would you be able to define good, anything good or bad? Because everything is rearrangement of matter. It doesn't provide you any code. So from atheistic standpoint, you don't have a moral.
Yeah, you don't have objective moral.
Objective moral, what is right and wrong, right? So that would be subjective. So he brought that the conscience of individual, we can make that decision. But the conscience of individual are faulty, and we know we are not all knowledgeable.
Yeah.
We do not know everything, and we do not see everything. We don't know what will happen in the future. So therefore, making some sort of decision based on the things that we have to have, like for example, I need to have the knowledge about a matter before I saying about that matter. For example, if I say homosexuality is wrong or right, I must have the knowledge of on what grade homosexuality is wrong and what grade homosexuality is allowed. Just because my desire tell me something is right doesn't necessarily make it right. So Allah, the creator of the heavens, He knows the total process. He knows how the desire, what happens, how chemical reaction.
Yeah.
So if we look at the psychology of it, right? Did Allah know everything?
Yes.
He knows. But those who making this decision from the atheistic standpoint, do they know all those factors?
No.
Now imagine if I give you a box and I want you to analyze the whole box.
Yeah.
If you don't have the total knowledge of the box, will you be able to analyze the whole box?
No.
So that's actually a self-defeating argument for them, because they think we human beings have enough understanding to make our subjective verdict for our current time, and that can be an objective. And I said no, because from an atheistic point of view, you do not know how someone's psychology is working. For example, let's say I want to judge you. Do I know what's going in your mind? Do I know what you will do in future?
No.
So therefore I cannot make a judge. So but when they realize that Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth, He knows it and He will judge it, then they say, oh, I don't want to submit and surrender. I find it more of a psychological issue. What do you think? What's your stance?
Honestly, I think atheism and the hate of atheism comes from a root of what happens is a lot of atheists mainly tend to be Western people from a Christian background, right? And when we look at it, I think they come mainly from a Christian background due to the illogical nature of God. But when they deem the illogical nature of God in Christianity, they overgeneralize religion, and they're not bothered to learn a religion, and they keep that ignorance for the rest of their lives. The problem with the atheistic standpoint is they have no objective morality or no objective ground to stand on due to everything in there coming from nothing, right? And the understanding of we're just chemical reactions, stuff like that. There is no consciousness they can prove. They can't prove consciousness. They can't prove law, because all the laws that they, for example, doing good to others, I guarantee you he learned all of that from a Christian background. For example, what is where do its moralities come from? Mainly from a Christian background, religious background.
Religious background.
So when we look at atheistic morality, it comes from what's around them. And what's around them is Christian values, Jewish values mainly. And these values have been etched into society to the extent where atheists have claimed these moralities for themselves, yet it's not their morality. Because if I were to tell you that there's no God, there's nothing objective that created us, and there's no one who decides things for us, then there's no logical reason to believe in that due to the nature of it as a whole. Because I can say that, for example, rape is right, and then another atheist can say it's wrong. What's their proof? They've got no proof.
Absolutely.
Because there's no scripture they follow.
Sure.
And they say that they follow their own sense, right? But when we look at murderers and psychopaths, they believe they're doing what's right? To the extent where they're so mentally messed up that some murderers will say, I'm doing this for the sake of God, or I'm genuinely right in my head. So what makes them any less righteous to an atheist that says, I'm right by helping humanity? Sure. Because the atheistic standpoint cannot prove nor negate anything. So when an atheist comes to me and says, your morality is wrong, or your God's not real, what can they prove to me with nothing?
So they don't have the tools to challenge us, because the model itself is not catered for this answer. Because that's why the gentleman I was speaking to, he said, I don't like to talk about, I said, do you believe in God? He said, I don't. I said, then explain to me how this universe comes into existence and why the creation exists. He said, this is not my question. I don't feel like this is important to me. I said, what is important to you? He said, we should live good by it. I said, okay, no problem. Let me address your question. And then I I wanted to find how can we all agree. Can we all agree without objective morality? And then I bring an example of homosexuality.
Yeah.
And I told him that was homosexuality allowed around 200 years ago.
No.
Then he actually know the year, and he mentioned it was 1966. It was allowed, and now, it was disallowed. Now it's allowed, right? So the moral actually changed by the people. So are we saying that those who people this act before, they are immoral based on what they have done? And are we saying we are moral because we understand better than them? Because look, the act of human being is not differentiate because of the just time. This is a desire, in exactly light for light matching. It's not about a fallacy of presentism. They would say, you are comparing two different genres. We're talking about habit. We're not talking about a particular thing. We're talking about exact habit of human being, which I can go back 200 years ago, and it will not fall under the fallacy of presentism because we're talking about the particular habit and we equating.
And I wanted to comment on, for example, when we look at the atheistic and secular point of law, the whole system is flawed. For example, when we look at human-made laws, they never work out in the end. And I'll explain why. When we look at, for example, you mentioned homosexuality. 200 years ago it's disallowed, now it's allowed. When we look at certain laws to do with, for example, the reason Christianity in this legal system and the overall theology of Christianity itself, the reason it's debated so heavily and the reason it's rejected so heavily is only due to the human control in the religion. The churches had so much power that they had control over the laws, they had control over things. For example, in Britain, they would have laws, for example, Henry VIII, he literally changed the whole of the church in England. He rejected...
Would you like to join in a conversation? So we're talking about belief, and do you have a belief or?
I believe in something, but I don't know what it is.
Like, what would be the definition of that belief? Do you believe there is a higher being?
I believe there is something.
Right. That something, do you say it's like a creation or unlike the creation?
I would say it's a creation, but not a person itself.
Right. Would that four-line definition I'll give you, is that makes sense to you? So we say, Qul huwa Allahu ahad. He is Allah the One. Allahu Samad. The being you are referring, Allah is saying, Allah, He is the eternal refuge. Means everything is depend on Him, but He is independent. And by the way, He's not a, He is not a masculine or feminine, it's just a referring term. And He doesn't have a son, nor He has a father. And there is nothing like God, or nothing comparable to God. Is that something goes aligned with your understanding?
Yeah. I have a few girlfriends, let's say, friends that are women, and they are ex-Islam because of how their family treated them. How would you...
So basically, that shows their lack of intellectual presence in their mind.
Yeah.
Just because someone behave bad, I don't want to leave any package.
Yeah.
Imagine you go to a country. Someone behave with you bad. Let's say someone said something bad to you. Someone swear to you. Would you conclude that whole Swedish people are bad?
I've got a really good point on it. For example, if you were to go to America and you see a black man steal, would you just generalize black people and say black people are thieves or black people are basically they're criminals, right? So the thing is with it, is what she's done is she's left Islam
just because of emotional reasons. So
exactly.
I would say any religion we accept or reject, that must not be based on emotional reason. Rather, we should have objective evidences for follow to religion.
Okay.
So those Muslims who follow emotionally, we also say to the Muslim, learn the deen, learn the religion first, so that you will be firm.
And so, what do you think? So, my friend, she's called Amal, and so she left Islam
Sure.
because she was dating a white man,
Yeah.
and her brother would beat her over it, and her dad really didn't accept it. What do you think of that?
Sure. So the whole idea is rejecting a religion based on a desire. So the religion actually doesn't tell you that you have to sacrifice the religion itself. So when someone leave any package, either they must be convinced of it
Right.
in first place. So I doubt whether she is convinced of that religion in first place.
Right, but you're talking about her.
Right, now,
So why?
I'm
so-
talking from the theological standpoint, right?
Yeah, but so her brother and her dad, do you think in your religion it is correct to talk to women in that way and not allow them to go out, not allow them to have relationships with white men?
Right. Okay. So the question have a lot of points in the question. So Islam is a religion, like any other religion. We have a certain conducts and rules. Just like in this country, we have many rules to abide by.
Yeah.
If you just go take all of your clothes, do you think police will come and arrest you? Imagine someone become naked and running around.
Yeah.
Do you think police will allow it?
And so that's how you think about hijab?
No. I'm asking a simple question. What do you think?
Oh yeah, no, that would be so wrong.
No. Not so wrong. Will police catch? Will police catch
yeah.
and fine? Yes.
Yeah.
So that means any society we live in, we must abide by a law. Correct?
Yeah.
It's the same way now imagine, let's say a scenario man acts. Who's running around naked? Police caught and fined. Do you think any of us will object the issue? No. Why? Because we have to abide by the law. Now, when we have this standard in mind, the same standard we need to apply to our God. If Allah tells us in first place, now imagine I told you, Isa, do not go to that road because you will burn your leg. And I told you 5 times. 6th time, you didn't listen to me. You go to this road, burn your leg. Who would you blame?
I blame
Yourself. Why? Because you didn't listen to the command. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell people, before committing any act, Allah told us how to live in a healthy life so that they can stay away from that activity that will displease Him. For example.
So, do you believe that?
Do you get my point? Do you get my point? Do you get my point?
So, do you believe that physical abuse is the way to teach women how to do that?
No, I agree. We should not be abusive. Okay, I agree.
Physical
Look, yes, we should not be physical.
and no emotional.
Look, there are certain conduct Islam allowed as well.
Yeah.
The way you have explained that, if this is the case, this is not the appropriate way to deal. There are certain conditions we should, like imagine, hear me out. Imagine if your children do something that you dislike. Imagine your children hanging up with gang, murderer, rapist. You don't just torture him. What would you do? You consult with him. You tell him the importance of how to behave good. In Islam, unfortunately, what you have said, maybe the family is not educated enough about Islam. So therefore, the blame cannot be taken by Islam, because Islam tells us there is a certain way of coaching our children.
Okay.
Our Prophet ﷺ, he was the great role model. And he was the loved by the whole nation. Meaning, so, in fact, Allah tells us, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعِالَمِينَ. He is a mercy for mankind. Why? Because he shows the extreme level of good character. How to treat children. The children used to so happy when they see him. So that means if someone in the name of religion act bad, let's say, Islam say, do not kill any soul. Now let's say, hypothetical scenario, a Muslim killed another guy. Can I blame that to Islam? Or can I blame that individual person?
before killing someone?
Yes.
Why?
Because the person is a Muslim.
Well, I don't think she understood the question. He's saying if Islam says
Yeah.
do not kill, and a Muslim goes and kills someone,
Right.
do we blame the religion
Yeah,
or
or do
the
you
person?
Oh, the person.
Yeah.
Person.
The person.
Right,
sorry.
exactly. So now the same scenario applied in this case. All of those blame goes to their misunderstanding of the religion itself.
Yeah.
The true, what Allah said in the Quran, the beautiful, yeah? Allah said, the sincere slave of Allah, yeah? Wa ibadur Rahman. Allah said, ibadur Rahman, the sincere slave of Allah is when even someone an ignorant address him, he just say, qalu salama, be peace upon to you, let me leave. So he doesn't even indulge with something, fighting or, creating violence. So Islam has a code of conduct.
Yeah.
If someone abide by the code of conduct, he shouldn't have to go to that option. Imagine, and Islam always talk prevention is better than cure. And therefore, we have called 5 maqasid, yeah? There are 5 objectives in our Sharia, Islam. And one is the protection of human being, protection of his intellect, and protection of sound mind and his religion, his intellectual faculty. So whenever Allah told us to eat good food, hang up with good company, and remember Allah often. So this is the code. And the detrimental thing that can disturb those intellectual faculties are the drugs, alcohol, bad companies. Allah told us, stay away from those.
I just want to ask.
No. Hear me out.
So-
It's important. It's important.
Okay.
It's important to understanding the foundation, right?
Okay.
So Allah tell us, in order to protect yourself, you don't do that is harmful for you,
Yeah.
but do things that will good for you. Now, if we apply the same scenario to your friend's case,
Right.
I can guarantee you none of the steps actually taken place.
So you're blaming her for how she was.
No, I'm blaming her family that they didn't teach her well.
So
They
I
didn't
have-
protect her.
I just,
Because this is not Islam advocate.
So your religion in itself is beautiful.
It is.
I love your religion. However, the way that a lot of families are brought up in teaching that religion to their younger children, I don't believe that is right.
Can I comment?
Because they are often physically abusive and emotionally abusive. I have many friends who grew up in Islam and are no longer in Islam because of how their parents taught them. How do you think that you would be able to, in what you're doing here?
I think let's not blame Islam for that.
No,
Eh,
I'm not. I think
yeah.
your religion is so
Yeah.
beautiful.
I'm gonna address a vital point here.
Yeah.
Look, as a society in whole in England, the society is going through a challenges,
Yeah.
and which is the missing of social bond
Yeah.
and discord in marital affairs,
Yeah.
right? And that is goes in line with everyone, an Englishman, black man, white man, Chinese, and everyone going through this issue, right?
Yeah.
So there are some common issues within everyone. So we cannot label Muslim for this, right?
No, I'm not doing that at
I'm
all,
just
I'm not.
making it. Like sometimes people can misunderstand.
Yeah.
So we need to make.
Please do not edit this.
No. That's why I'm making this clarity. We don't edit the video. That's why I'm making that clarity, right? So
Yeah.
everyone is going through. So when we're talking about those families, right? Let's say,
Yeah.
for example, in Stratford, if you walk around,
Yeah.
you will find at least 30 to 40% of the children, they are come from a single parent. And because of the single parent, the parents is not capable or not given enough time to look after them, nurturing them. Look, giving children birth is not only the responsibility of the parent. Parent has to monitor where my children are going, where they're with the good company or the bad company. So whenever we go and identify the root cause of the problem, like for example, I tell you what, when you go to the doctor, let's say, we go with a problem. Let's say you have an intestinal problem. Doctor, without examining you, giving you a tablet, would you be happy with that?
No.
Why not?
Because how does he know?
The diagnostic was not done properly.
Yeah.
The same way, when we look at the social problem, we need to go back to the root cause of it. And you know what the root cause of it? Alcohol, gambling, These are the root cause of it, and that's why Islam prohibited.
Yeah.
Now imagine if you take all these problematic things that Allah told us not to indulge upon, then look, we would be happy and harmonious family. So that's why we in Islam we have two things, allowable and prohibition. The prohibition is there to protect us, and allowable is something that we should practice upon it to make ourselves better. For example, Allah told us eat good foods, and what He prohibited, that's something harmful. Allah told us to eat blood? No, because blood is harmful. Allah told us halal and tayyiba, eat lawful and good things. So the beauty of the religion is often we try to take our desire to lead to our guidance, which Allah tells us, do not follow your desire as your own God, meaning do not define your way of life just because you like it. That's why Allah said, look at the sound intellect that I given you. Give me an
I
example.
do get everything with this Allah, and I have a lot of friends in Christianity that have separated themselves from Christianity because of how their parents enforce laws in physical and emotional ways. How are you going to, with all of this, encourage parents to not enforce these religious ways?
Yeah, sure. I'll give you a point. Yeah, sure.
First of all, Islam says there is no compulsion in religion, so we cannot force it onto people.
However, parents do.
Second of all, with parents, what we can do is we can advise parents. The same way you tell your kids do not murder, but murderers exist. The parents you're mentioning, the majority, and I guarantee you the majority of Muslim parents do not enforce. What you're seeing is subjective people with subjective experiences, and these people have obviously areas.
I'm not trying to generalise,
but I know. What I'm saying is areas, how they were brought up, where they were brought up, all of these, and what their parents' habits are, all play into account, as you said. So when we mention with telling parents, me and him can tell everyone on here, don't beat your kids, don't abuse your kids, something like that. Will they listen to us? Some may not. The problem is it's not in the religion, but it's in the people themselves. Like he said, does the parent gamble? Does the parent have anger issues? Does he drink alcohol? Does she drink alcohol? And there's problem, which is why Islam is, as he said, prevention instead of cure. Why do you need to cure something when you can prevent the thing itself?
For example, if you know that if you drink too much, you will have a heart surgery. But if doctor tells you if you can prevent it now, you don't need to do a surgery. Which one is better? Drinking it and going through a surgery, or prohibiting yourself? So the problem, this country actually needs Islamic guidance. People living with the desire. This country, not this country, actually the world. Because you know why? Because
this country is a Christian country.
It's not.
No, it's not. It's a secular country. Because I think the last time, the stats, I don't know, what do you call it?
I don't agree with Christian.
Islam
Christianity.
is higher in
No, but it's not Christian majority. I think last year or the year before there was statistics was done. I don't know. Yeah.
We do have separation between church
and right.
Yeah.
So what my point is here, Islam is the only religion which doesn't dilute it with the social pressure. There are other religions which accepted the idea of society. But in Islam, we are the only religion we actually said no, we want to protect Allah's guidance. Because the guidance is coming from the source who is all-knowing. So as you have discovered the beautiful side of Islam, which you yourself want Islam for you?
I don't believe in any religion. I just believe there is something up there, but I myself will follow my own morals, not any laws
Where do your morals come?
Yeah, so
my own specific morals.
So how your own moral to define something good or define something bad? I'm sure you have categorized something good and something bad. How do you define it?
Oh, that is so hard.
So you realize it's not hard. Is because it's the subjective opinion is based on something unknown factors. Like for example, yes, exactly. This is what I'm talking about. So whenever, let's say, I wanted to make a decision about this box. Let's say this is a box.
Yeah.
I do not know 80% of this box.
Okay.
Can I make a correct justification on that box? No, I cannot. I cannot make a commentary on that. So when we talk about our morals and desire, all of the things are related to beyond my knowledge, meaning I am not capable of. I have, what I can say myself is that I feel like it. That's the highest you can go. But you cannot say I know exactly how my chemical reaction work, how my psychology work. We do not even know what are the cell actually responsible. Medical science can tell you, but you cannot tell. So therefore, you are not going to a medical scientist to define how should I live by, right? So therefore, what we say, we are not fit for defining our code since we do not know the whole package. It's like someone want to make a building, but he doesn't have a knowledge of architecture. So the moment he will make a building, because he doesn't know the architecture, building will collapse.
Yeah. Can I comment one thing on morality?
Sure.
The problem with humans making their own laws is it's never worked.
Yeah.
And I'll explain why. Laws change. 200 years ago, homosexuality was banned.
Yeah.
And now it's fine.
Yeah.
When we look at certain things to do with adultery, people are stoned in British England, like the Christianity. When Christianity was mainly around, there was a law on adultery, you'd be killed, you'd be stoned publicly. When we look at women who were suspicious, they would be burnt alive for being called witches.
Yeah.
This all comes from human-made laws. The reason Christianity has many arguments and differences within itself, why do people debate on the Trinity itself being illogical? Because humans have controlled what is true and what is false, what is right and what is wrong. And that's our problem, because humans have flaws.
If today we have gay men dating gay men, we have gay women dating gay women, we have all sorts of sexualities. Does Islam of the modern society agree with that?
So the question is, when we're talking about Islam, do you believe that our morality should come from an objective source rather than our subjective source? Then that point will stand. It's a very important question. I'm asking you again. Do you believe, since we evaluated and we discussed and we kind of realized that objective morality has no solution for our problems.
Right.
Therefore, we need an objective morality where we can all agree.
Okay.
Rather than taking my own law to myself, let's kind of agree with a morality based on where we can all agree. My question.
But I think that sexuality is not about agreement.
No,
it's about who you are.
No, that's not that. No, that's not that.
You don't think that?
No, I don't think that. Now,
No.
I'll tell you why. There are something given to you does not necessarily mean to you.
Okay.
It means owner. Are you the owner?
No.
You just having it. So the life that you given, did you ask for it to give it to you, or was it given to you?
No.
You asked me that question.
Well, my parents had sex and then there was
No.
I.
No.
Was it given to you?
No, was it given? Like, for example, I'll tell you. Imagine if you die, God forbid, if you die in front of your parents,
Right.
will your parents give you life again?
No.
Therefore, your parents were not consciously responsible to bringing you out to this
So
universe.
how are they responsible to choose what sexuality I have?
Right. That's not their duty. That's not your duty. The duty of the maker of you. Now, as you have realized, the body and the life that you given was given by someone else other than your parents and not you.
Right.
So if I don't give my life to myself, not my parents, then someone else. Then once we identify who is my maker or someone who is responsible for my making, should I not then obey?
Yeah, but if
No,
in that
why-
case,
why-
in that case, why would being gay exist? Why would choosing your sexuality, not even choosing?
Okay,
why
this
would being
is
born in sexuality
right.
in that
Now
case
I can
exist?
answer that question,
Okay.
but answer the first premise. So there are arguments in the stairs, right? So there are step 1, step 2, step 3. We don't jump onto the step 3. First step 1, then step 2, then step 3. If you jump onto step 3, you will have an accident. So the question go back, since you have realized that you didn't come from nothing, your parents didn't created you, that means someone must have created you, because there is no other choices. I do not want to make a fallacy. I want to hear, do you have any other option, that where did you come from? Because it's essential. Then therefore we can define what we can choose for ourselves or not.
Reincarnation.
Right? No,
But that has to be
the reincarnation is not an option. Reincarnation means someone has to bring you in the first place. So
That's your religion.
no,
Like my religion.
no, we don't believe in
how
reincarnation.
How I believe myself. Like Christians believe something else. Hindus believe something else. We have to accept all of these different religions. I myself believe in reincarnation.
Yeah. So the point number one, Isa, let's finish here and then I'll. So the point number one, then we establish there is a creator, right? Or someone who brings it into existence.
Yeah.
Now, who defined? Now, if I make a bottle, do the bottle define the purpose, or am I define the purpose? So we logically follow that if the creator of the bottle...
Does the bottle know the purpose?
Sorry? The bottle was known because I informed the bottle.
Yeah, but does the bottle know the purpose?
The bottle would not know if I don't tell. Simple.
But how can the bottle know that you've told it?
Exactly. This is the great question. That's why Allah, when He created every human being, how did He inform? He sent prophets and messenger so that you know God.
What he says is he has not sent sent a message to every nation.
Yeah.
So every nation has received
a messenger,
revelation.
And the messenger inform you about your purpose.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now Allah tells us, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Allah created mankind and the jinn kind to test you. Meaning that something you love, Allah will say not to follow it. But Allah given you so many things. Like often what happened, people complain about so many things that's not working. But these people are very hypocritical. Do you know how? Because when everything was working, they never thanked God. You see, it's like you taking money from me, you never say thank you, and the moment I stop money, you start swearing me. In a hypothetical
I'm not
scenario.
taking money from you.
No, I'm just a hypothetical scenario.
I get it.
So on that essence, as you have realized that the morality that we have taken in our own hand, you know, Allah actually talk about these psychological things in the Quran. Allah tells us, أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَهُ إِلَهُ هَوَى. That have you seen the one who taken his desire as his own God? Meaning, he takes his desire as whatever I feel like I need to do it. Means I will be submitted to it. Meaning the way we should obey God, he obeyed his way of life and he loves his life the way he defined himself. So, and that is very subjective. And you realize, and that cannot be a solution for humanity. Because imagine if you, like for yourself, all of the people in the world have this individual mindset. This world will be chaos and corruption. Someone would say, look, I love singing at the night time.
Yeah.
Loud. Another would say, look, I find sleeping in the night time is better.
I'm not trying
it's
to
discord the harmony.
debate your religion. I think your religion in itself is beautiful. I just think that somehow, some way that people enforce this religion
Yes, I agree.
is wrong.
We agree.
We agree. So we never said it.
Okay,
What
then
we,
in
no,
that case-
look.
Let me say one thing.
What we say is very important here.
And I think this is a people problem,
Did you
not a religious problem.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know why? And this is due to with a lack of knowledge or lack of understanding. Sometimes people have knowledge, but they don't practice it.
Yeah.
Right. So Allah said the most hateful things in the sight of Allah is the things you say but you don't do.
Yeah.
Right.
How can you preach good when you do not do it to yourself?
Exactly. So our religion tell us not to be hypocritical, meaning giving advice to someone which you don't do. Yeah.
Right.
كَبُرَ مَقْتًا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ. So Allah talks about all of these moral codes that humankind needs it. And my question
too. People in the Islam community that preach Islam. Again, your religion is beautiful. However, they would do the things that is not religious, such as drink alcohol.
Absolutely.
And
Agree.
they would deal. In
Yeah,
fact, Amal,
One of the
who is
people-
my friend that I've been talking about, her brother was a drug dealer.
Sure.
However,
See?
he
Yeah.
then started dating a white man.
Sure.
And he tried to beat her up over dating a white man.
Obviously,
out
we're
of
on
marriage.
camera. it's
Okay.
better not
So
to-
how is that correct?
So
That's not-
And
I'll,
Can I-
obviously,
okay.
Islam itself is a beautiful
I am a bit-
religion.
I've
It's
had a
just
similar situation.
the
Okay.
society around it that can create uncomfortable.
What I'll say is, this is completely the problem with what the West,
Is that
what
what
the
you
West
guys are
has done.
trying to preach here?
Okay.
No, no,
What
no.
we're trying to
What? No,
preach
no,
here-
no.
You're just trying to
No, no, no.
preach Islam.
No. The whole
Yeah.
point is uncovering the
Yeah.
truth. So, for example, there are layers. So, when the alcohol mixed with the water,
Right.
it's not water. And our religion, Allah talks us, وَلَا تَلْبِسُوا الْحَقَّ بِالْبَاطِلِ وَتَكْتُمُوا الْحَقَّ وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. That do not mix truth with falsehood.
Okay.
The same way, when Allah given us the divine guidance, we should not mix with our desire. Make sure you separate. So when you, in Islam, Allah tell us to reject the desirable guidance and then accept the guidance from all-knowing, who Allah takes it. So for example, whenever you see a hole in the road, if you do not fix it straight away, when the rain comes, it will break the whole road, because that will the cause of breaking others. So whenever in Islam anyone do something wrong, we straight away repent to Allah, come back to the ways so that it doesn't become more detrimental.
Okay.
Would you like to add any point?
What I wanted to add to the point was, first of all, drug dealing can cause an effect on his mental
Yeah.
It
side
is
of
to
things.
do with economical
Yeah.
situations.
Which is
it's
why
not to do with religious
Islam,
situations.
Exactly.
Islam also,
Exactly.
wait, which is what I tell you is, Islam fixes economical situations. It does.
Okay, so
If you
then
think-
why are so many people that
Okay.
preach Islam in
I'll tell you now.
terrible
Okay, I'll tell you now why.
situations then?
Who's the leader of this country?
Keir Starmer at the moment.
Okay.
A white
And what
man,
law?
obviously.
Yeah. What law do we follow? What law system? Democracy, right?
Yeah.
Islam brings Sharia, with law of God, right? Sharallah. So the thing is, it's a difference of law. If we had a Muslim Amir, right? Amir al-Mu'mineen, we call him, the leader of the
Believer.
Yeah, the believers, yeah. So when we have this, right, and we have an Islamic state, like the
So
livelihood.
that's what you want England to
No,
become an
we never said.
Islamic
If we
state.
could, then sure, we would want the whole world.
I
to be Muslim.
think let's
Yeah. But
make the point
The
shorter.
point is-
the point shorter here is
The leader would be responsible for the poor people.
Exactly.
And the poor people wouldn't have to be suffering, because if we had an Islamic system.
Okay, but we had Rishi Sunak.
The Rishi
He was a brown man.
Okay.
And his
he
parents were
Muslim?
first.
Okay. So I'll
Yeah.
tell you the
Yeah.
biggest problem. So the country's economic system, let me address you directly. This economic system runs by the riba, interest. Interest meaning, usury meaning you taking poor from poor and making rich richer and poor more
It's a
poorer.
trickle-down system.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a very unfair system, right? It has many implications on the social bonding. So you getting rich, richer, poor, more poorer.
Okay.
But what Islam offer to you?
Yeah, but the thing is,
No, you don't even know. No, you don't.
religion
No,
is
we
not
have prescription.
supposed to
We
be
have.
political.
No,
It is.
You
No.
just have to have a separation between
No.
religion and
That's the problem with
politics.
Christianity. You know why? That's the problem with the Christianity, not Islam, because it doesn't cater for all
The
the.
thing is, at the moment
Hear
in
me
our
out. Hear me.
country,
Give me 1
Christianity
minute.
and politics
Give,
are
Let him say this point.
give me 1
We need
minute.
to have a separation.
Let him say this point.
Okay.
I'll tell you what is very important. What you say. The problem with the Christianity, this is not a total religion, meaning the religion is not complete.
Yes.
Islam is unlike. It has everything, all the solution there. We have something called counter to the interest, which is called zakat. Zakat is to taking from the rich, giving it to the poor, so that social harmony can be balanced and there will be no discord between the brotherhood. Imagine if I know that you are taking money from me and you getting more richer, and I know that you are exploiting my weakness, knowing that I am in trouble, I will never respect you. But the moment I realize I am a rich man, but then I am helping you, you are poor, not because someone forced you, just because you fear Allah, you would have respect. So in that way, we can eliminate social problem, we can maintain social harmony, we can maintain a great standard of moral. That's why we don't need to separate the state and the charge. You know why? Because our Sharia cover everything, all the human problems. The Quran and the Hadith, you will not find a single thing. I challenge everyone, all the non-Muslim who's hearing. There is not a single thing you will not find in Islam that doesn't have answer. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran that He has completed the deen. Meaning there is no more room for, or there is no something else that you will bring that have no answer. That's why we invite you, sister, to the Islam to look at that. And do not, as you have realized that how I am losing out this beauty of that I can incorporate to myself. Should you not be a part of this beautiful religion? If you want good for you and good for others, this is the best package you have. Now, just because Asian and Arab follow it and your forefather doesn't follow it, do not make this contention to reject it.
All of my previous ancestors, shall we call them, have been either Christian or Catholic. I would never ever expect England to enforce Christian or Catholic beliefs into politics. Myself, because politics should be completely different. The Christian ideologies should be something that you should enforce onto yourself.
So there's a multiple problem with this.
The government yourself enforces onto people.
The government will be always run by the secular ideas. And then we know those secular ideas cannot be a solution for humanity. Now imagine if you go to the government, any government you go, they will not have this interest, zakat-based economic system. So therefore, they will always have a economic system that actually harms a minor group or weak group of community. Then weak group of community are, have you seen payday loan shop? Payday loan shop. There are okay. So the payday loan shop exists pretty much every corner you will find. Even the banks are considered as a payday loan shop. The moment you go, they will tell you, okay, you will need money, we'll give you £5,000. But in return, you will give me 13.5%. So the bank is actually not really helping you. Bank actually realizing, I'm going to exploit this person. Who are the owner of the banks? These are the rich people.
I don't agree with the bank side.
Right now,
I don't agree with anything.
But I tell you why it's problematic. Because if you say you believe in politicians to run this country,
I don't agree with them.
Right now, in few moments ago, you mentioned that we should leave the politics to the state official.
I said we should have a separation of religion to the state.
Okay.
Which means that you have religion.
Okay. State.
You prefer to live by your rules. If I was Christian, I would prefer to live by Christianity rules.
But state.
Then you have the politicians.
Yeah, the state would be run by politician. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. By extension, state will be run by politician, and the politician will adopt in the ideology that will discord the harmony of the brotherhood.
Can I comment one thing?
Now let me finish it. Yeah. And then you can have a conversation, or you want to take it. Let me go.
No, you can go.
Okay. So the discord between family and the society goes from the bottom. It always works on the bottom. So when we look at the politician, they will never adopt a fair policy. So therefore, if you know that they will not have a fair policy, how can you again then say, okay, I want religion and state to be separate, and then you are allowing an unfair group of authority to be an authority over you. So there,
However,
look
at states like America, where they do not have a separation between Christianity and state.
Yeah.
It is all combined.
Come here.
Yeah. So
in America, they do not have a separation of state and religion.
Yeah.
And to be fair, all of the politicians make their decisions based on their Christianity, and they make their decisions based on their own personal beliefs and religions instead of what their specific state asks them to do. So it's not to do with Islam or anything, it's to do with the fact that I specifically think you should live in your own separate rules. You should not push that onto anyone else, and that politics and laws should be completely separate to religion.
There is a problem with this. There is a problem with this. The whole point of separation we need to understand why this is separation. The religion, if the religion doesn't provide enough guidance, I look at the religion of Christianity, it doesn't give you the economic solution of the problem. The government are bound to make state separation between religion and the state. Why? because the religion is unable to cater or unable to provide guidance to the country. Now imagine we cannot use the same brush with Islam. I mentioned to you. Islam,
Of the mix.
yeah.
They believe.
So Islam, we don't need to make a separation between the state and the religion. Why? You tell me. I've explained to you.
Sorry, what was the question? I was distracted.
Why in Islam we don't need to make a distinction between state and the religion?
Between state
And the religion. Why?
Because the people should be controlled or asked to abide by laws by the state
No.
and not by your own personal beliefs.
No. The religion is fully able to cater all the problem.
Okay, but that's how Christianity is.
No, but
run.
that's a
how
Christianity's
Catholicism
problem.
used to run.
That's why
And that is
this
why
brother.
white Catholics and white Christians used to kill. I'm sorry, so many of you guys, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that is what happened, and I just don't believe that is how it should be
That's
run.
why the important distinction we made. That's why people live in Christianity. First of all, there are many layers of problem. And one of the biggest problem with the Christianity, it doesn't give you solution to all your problem. Why did you become Muslim? Because one of the reason the Islam cater all. Why did you has to live
It doesn't cater
Christianity?
for everything in society.
Exactly.
And if you look at
So we have a first-hand
Britain
experience.
now, the reason why the standards have gone down is because they've divorced Christianity. If you're going to be a
Yeah.
politician or a teacher, you have to have morals.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have to believe in something.
And none of our politicians
So
have
they can do anything.
Yeah.
If
Exactly.
you fear God, then you will not be corrupt.
Yeah.
But why should you fear God? Why should you not hope?
When we
for
say
Exactly. No.
fear-
The question go back to the initial premise.
Okay.
When I said, did you come from nothing? Did you create yourself?
Alhamdulillah.
And now you realize the moment I accept the other God, then I have to abide by it. So it's not about why.
I created myself because I hope for better, not because I fear of being
When you say
sad.
when you created yourself,
Yeah.
did you exist before your own existence?
Of course I did. I believe in reincarnation.
So did you believe that you were the same person when you existed before your existence?
Personally, I just think
I don't
that
think she
we.
understands reincarnation and the doctrine fully. Reincarnation, there has to be a start for you to reincarnate. So who created
I just don't think this is honestly the right place
Okay.
to have this conversation.
No, I think-
because I do have a whole thing for this, but I don't think.
Sure.
No, fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Is that okay?
No,
Because
the
I do
whole point
have
of reincarnation
a
doesn't apply here. Do you know why? Because it has to have a start point. Reincarnation means repetition again. But when we addressing the prime cause, the cause of that our existence.
Yeah.
And as you have realized, the moment we go there, we eliminated all the impossible option. Then the possible necessary option left is for you to accept the maker. Now out of desire, I don't like to accept the maker. It is not a problem of religion, it's the problem of that person, individual itself. So therefore, if anyone has some sort of ideology derived from the desire, we cannot then counter religious ideology with our ideologies. You know why? Because religious ideology was grounded with foundation, and the non-religious one are not foundation. So I cannot, like, it's not light for light, it's not for apple.
Yeah.
Do you see?
I don't believe that our English politicians in this country aren't good
Any country.
people. Yeah,
There was
in
one
this,
thing I
in
don't
this
think
amazing
she's
country.
understanding.
Sure,
I don't
sure.
believe they're not good
So-
people because of their lack of religion. Many of them have religion. I just believe that they're not good people because of their lack of morals. And there's many states that are very religious. However, the way that they run those states are not.
Religious.
I do have
Wait.
to go.
Okay, so
Thanks for your patience.
I just want to say two things quickly.
Okay.
sure.
One thing I don't think you fully understood was,
Yeah.
first of all, Islam itself does not, for example, if you're living under a Muslim state, you can abide by your religious laws.
Yeah.
There's no problem with that, unless it's to do with, for example, preaching paganism, stuff like that. There's
Right,
certain
yeah,
rules
yeah,
on
yeah.
preaching and to claim your religion. But we don't take away any of your previous, for example,
Yeah.
in Hinduism, if you're not meant, for example, is it
Oh,
Hinduism
no,
you're
I
not
was
meant
just-
to eat a cow?
I was just using other
they're
religious
But what I'm
settings.
sacred.
And the second thing is, I think we're misunderstanding the reason why we're saying that we do not differentiate religion from state laws is due to Islam answering every single problem from economic to social. That's the reason. For example, democracy and the country we live in does not answer all of that.
Okay.
For example, he gave the thing taking from the rich and giving to the poor to balance out the economy.
We should do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what?
Islam
We
does
cannot be,
But
look. I tell you.
You should do that through a religious way. I
No,
think you should
that's
do
called
that-
pick and choose. Look, imagine if I take a company and I take his shirt, and then I say,
But
look, I'm gonna.
That's the thing. I'm sorry, I've
No,
got to go. But
you know,
I think
but
we
this is
shouldn't do it
so
through
look.
a religious way. We should do it
No,
through
but
a
because
economic way.
look. I tell you why. You accept
And in
my
that
no.
case, you believe this? Create your own party.
No. I'll tell you very simply. I'll summarize it. Yeah, as if you take my product, but you don't accept me.
exactly.
Yeah.
So this is I would say, not a fair standard.
Picking and choosing.
Picking and choosing. So what we formally invite you to Islam, to look into the beautiful religion Islam, where you surrender to that one Allah, the Creator Almighty, and then one day you will return to Allah, and Allah will ask you about this life.
Okay.
And this life is a test, sister. So we wanted to give you a copy of the Quran for your own reading.
Thank you.
And I appreciate Allah guide you to Islam and look into it. And if you have any final question, do you have any final?
I don't have any final questions. I really enjoyed this chat with you.
Yeah, I
guys.
hope that also the viewers
Yeah.
clarified many things we have
It's
said.
the last and very small
Yeah.
point, but if you agree with the political side of Islam and what it preaches in its law, and then you agree with the theological point,
Wait.
Just very, very briefly.
Wait, brother.
What definition by saying a mother gives birth to nonsensical. So the only real thing is if there is a beginning
forbidden. If you go to the Bible now, you can read it says, for the Israelite to lend money to an Israelite based on interest is forbidden. But to lend it to the Goyim, the Gentile, is permissible. Yeah. So we would say it's unjust, it's not suitable for mankind. So this is Islam. But this is all secondary. The most important thing is God is one. He alone is the creator. He alone is the sustainer. He's the one who controls the affairs. So we worship him alone. We can't worship a prophet. We can't worship an angel. We can't worship anything because they're all created. Like Allah mentions, I know I spoke a lot, but Allah mentions, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَإِنسَ إِلَّا يَعْبُدُونَ. Allah said, I did not create jinn, which is a separate creation, and mankind except to worship me. We have been created to worship God. Allah says, وَعْبُدُ اللَّهِ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. Worship Allah alone, worship God alone, and do not worship anything other than him. Just lastly, Allah mentions concerning all the messengers, not just the Prophet Muhammad, but Allah said, وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ. Allah said, we sent in every people, in every nation, we sent a messenger calling the people to worship God alone and do not make partners with him. Do not worship false gods, do not obey false gods. So that's the foundation which all the messengers came with. And that's how we will be successful in this life and the hereafter. So that's the message of Islam.
I appreciate the conversation, man.
No problem.
Dive in and find out more.
Yeah, just look into it. If you have any more questions, but think about it. I think by your face, it has some effect.
It has some effect. That's why I'd like to actually find it on my own.
No problem. Okay, thank you for your time. Mike, Yusuf. Okay, all the best. Take care.
See how many property here? There's a load of property.
Wa alaikum assalam, bro. How are you? Yep. It's Quran and then one of each leaflet. One is enough?
No, just back in because it's for this one.
Oh, you need a bag.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, man, I'll make it easy. I don't think this is big enough. Will it help?
No, exactly. So,
You want one more? Two more?
yeah, because it's so full.
I want some Hamza. Sorry. Hamza, you want to turn it all off?
No, it's broken.
No problem.
You don't like being on camera?
No, we're talking about shopping. How are you, Akhi? Alhamdulillah. Yeah, I'm afraid we don't have anything bigger. Alhamdulillah, Jazak Allah Khair. Alhamdulillah, Jazak Allah Khair. Akhi, it's enough. Alhamdulillah, Barakallah feekum. Pear. تفضل. لماذا؟
We don't give any divine attributes. Just by definition, he's not a bloke, he's not a man, he's not a woman, he's not an idol, he's not a statue. If that makes sense to you, as opposed to, oh, I'm just here for no reason, and I'm just going to go to work 9 to 5, come back home, and then spend an evening doing watching the telly, then go back to work next day. If that is what our sole purpose, then it's purposeless in effect. Sure, we have to do all these things for our existence. However, we need to reflect our central purpose, which is to appreciate our Creator, give thanks to our Creator, worship our Creator, and do what the Creator has commanded us to do. Now that makes sense to me. Does that make sense to you?
I think about it more. The older I get, the more I think about it.
When you go for a new job, what do? You have to do your due diligence and you have to research into the job.
I haven't been for a new job in over 20 years.
Wow, that's something.
Like me, well, I retired 10 years ago, so.
That's very fortunate, very fortunate. But we don't mean to influx you with lots of information. Have a do consider. I mean, would you like to take a copy of the Quran in English, free of charge? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Here you guys have a last little gift for you. Have a good read. We've got a selection of literature on the table, which we've put into the bag. Have a little read. We're here every Saturdays, and then you can also bump into Hamza as well. Okay. You have a great evening. Yeah, the neighbours.
This is my next door neighbour. When we go, we talk. I want to find out about him.
I like that, mashallah.
I've never seen him move so fast.
All right, you have a good evening. Take care. Good evening to you. Bye-bye. That's a very nice conversation with our brother's neighbour, mashallah. So may Allah guide her. She's very receptive to listening on, inshallah ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, so just to continue that, we had a nice conversation with one of our Dawah brothers' neighbours, listened attentively to some of the points. I could see when I was speaking to her, the soul was being captivated. Not eloquence on my part. Allah has put that disposition within the human being to reflect upon why we are here, and to then understand that one day we're all going to perish and be in front of that Creator. And I could see within her, even though she may have not been in a fully what you call sober state, she was reflecting upon the points that were raised. May Allah guide her, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Nice guy.
Very nice.
You see, I can talk to people like this.
I know you did very well, brother.
You see, when somebody, as I said, I'm going to have to start bringing my saber. Sometimes it's needed.
Yeah, no, you're right, but I agree. Sometimes.
I'm not going to kill them. I start off with the left hand first. Then the right hand. For someone like that, on life, you are on life.
Okay, that's all right.
Oh.
Okay, so we've.
No.
So yeah, so we've already made a conclusion to the discussion.
No, because I was saying something.
Oh, sorry. Ask it.
He's finished it.
We're finished now. I made the.
He did it already.
But it's Islam.
Oh, okay. So it's So yeah, but come to that, brothers. We've had a very good day today in Stratford. We've spoken to lots of people. We're trying to encourage them to understand Islam and to accept our various discussions that we have. So we have got these types of leaflets. Why Islam, the beauties and benefits of the religion. It gives a nice little brief introduction into the fundamental tenets, the relationship we have with Allah, why we're here, accountability. We look at God is one and unique, God is all powerful. These are some of the literature that we introduce, and people are very, very receptive. We're giving away those Qurans on the table, as you can all see on a regular basis. Many people take free copies of the Quran. We've got our brothers there doing the dawah as well. So may Allah increase people's understanding of this religion. May people accept the truth of Islam. It's a religion which is bound to be successful. It's a religion which Allah has promised which will benefit all of mankind. It's a religion which, inshallah, will be there for everyone to take to engross upon and to reflect and to accept and to lead a life according to the will of Allah. Make dua for all these people we speak to, and that inshallah to the public in general, that they may understand and come to the truth that so many people are doing, alhamdulillah, by the will of Allah. Jazakum Allah Khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You made very good points.